You see the shirt? If you don't get one in the link right now, I will Hakai you. Alright, we're gonna get to the video. Tory Lanez begs judge not to ruin his life as he's let out of court. Blames lawyer plus DNA.
Check it out now. Holy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Tory Lanez is battling for is freedom in court as he pursues an attempt to get a new trial, okay? He's made a motion for a new trial, meaning that the trial that they just did and everybody testified, he says that was BS, okay? Now, according to the case that his attorneys are putting on, they're saying that DNA evidence should have exonerated him from this whole situation, okay? They've gotten some new experts who have now interpreted the DNA to say, yo, Tory's DNA was definitely not on the gun. However, during the case, it was admitted that Tory Lanez's DNA, while it wasn't conclusively found on the gun, it could not have been proven that he definitely didn't touch the gun, okay? And that's why they said it was inconclusive during the trial. Regardless, now Tory Lanez's new expert is saying, hey, we could exclude Tory Lanez. Not only that, according to what we're hearing from a journalist, Megan Cuniff, she's saying that Tory Lanez's lawyers are now also playing the blame game. They're saying, hey, Tory he didn't have proper counsel, which means your lawyer didn't do a good job. And they're not saying that the lawyer sucked, but they're basically saying that Tory, who went through 2 attorneys during this process, because he had to get rid of his first attorney, Sean Hawley, the next attorney had to get in there really quickly and handle trial. Now, keep in mind, one attorney had like 2+ years to know the ins and outs of the case and get prepared. The other one legitimately only had a very short period to get familiar with the case and also defend Tory. So basically, they're saying Tory didn't have a chance of a proper and fair defense. Now, keep in mind, they're still asking, and by the way, for the people who, there's a lot of Tory Lanez supporter who feels like, why aren't you keeping the same energy about this whole situation? I think this is a long shot trying to get this a new trial, because they just went through a whole lengthy trial that cost a lot of money. Why would they just give you a new trial because you lost, right? Also, when you ask for a new trial and you do a motion for a new trial, you're asking the same judge who literally sat there when you had the first trial. So for him to agree that you get a new trial would be him pretty much admitting that he allowed things to go wrong while he was up there as the judge. And which judge going to criticize himself? So again, these are all long shots I believe that Tory Lanez is trying. And by the way, he has other ways to try to get out of jail, because if this doesn't work, and by the way, he's going to get a whole thing today saying whether it's going to be granted or not, he could then file an appeal. The appeal process starts then, but the appeal starts after you get pretty much sentenced, okay? Now, we all know what comes to sentencing, deportation, and that's what he's trying to fight. However, it looks like it's a real dire situation, because in addition to blaming his past attorney, we also saw the judge shoot down a bunch of attempts by his lawyer to get witnesses or expert witnesses to testify during this hearing. Basically, the court or the judge is saying, yo, we don't need to hear them, okay? Submit a written thing, I'll look at it, but we don't need to hear your witnesses, or we don't need people taking a stand, not during this motion or me listening to this motion. Regardless, one interesting point that came out in court is that when Tory was supposedly being led out the courtroom, Tory supposedly plead for his life with the judge. And supposedly he uttered to the judge, please don't ruin my life. I could be your son. I could be your brother. And essentially, he was then told to be quiet by the sheriff deputies, okay? So essentially, man, Tory's in a situation where he's trying to get this thing reversed, but, man, it's an uphill battle, and this motion to get a trial or get a new trial is something that's very important for him, that he could avoid this conviction turning into a sentencing, which would lead to a deportation. But again, I'm just being realistic with y'all. This is a long shot. Maybe on appeal, he has more grounds, because you'll have a higher court kind of judging what this judge did and others. But to ask the same judge, hey, did you do anything wrong that I could get a new trial? I would imagine that this is probably, and being realistic, I think this is probably a 10% chance. Okay, this is probably a 10% chance he gets a new trial. And again, if he doesn't, go on to the next process, which would be the appeal process, and that's going to be a whole thing in itself. However, he's probably going to be already serving his sentence unless the judge, for whatever reason, rules that he could wait outside of jail until, you know, the appeal process kind of takes place. So we'll see what happens, but I definitely want to say, man, pray for Tory. What happened that night? Hey, the jurors for the last trial thought one thing. Obviously, we were skeptical about a lot of things that happened. Again, in hindsight, a lot of people feel like this case was just doomed from the get-go, whether you believe Meg or not. Meg is a victim. She shows up, and if she's going to point you out, and if she's going to give that testimony, it's hard to beat that case. All right, we'll see what happens, but Tory pleads for his freedom in court with the judge, and also they're playing the blame game, blaming the other attorney who came before this attorney and the last attorney. So we'll see what's the next tactic by the Tory Lanez defense squad. Does he get out? Does he get deported? Does he get any chance of somehow redemption? We'll see. Get in the comments, subscribe to Judge Academics.
God damn, man. I mean, DJ Academics pretty much, I mean, he right. I think it's less than a 10% chance. Me personally, I don't know if he really shot her or not, but like from what I seen the evidence, it wasn't without a shadow of a doubt that he did it. So I'm saying free Tory because like I don't know if he did it. It don't. He could have did it, but it don't. It's too many like. What about this and this? It's too. There's doubt. You know what I'm saying? There's no. You have to be convicted without a shadow of a doubt, and I don't think he did it without a shadow of a doubt. I have doubts, but hey, that's just me though. That's an opinion. Shit, man. Yeah, he's fucked, man. They gonna hit him over the head too, cause yeah, they finna hit him over the head. I think they gonna hit him over the head with like at least a 5-piece, at least, and he getting deported.